Hello everyone and welcome to this video. So right before we start, just a quick announcement. Because of the situation with the virus and because many people are stuck at home and everything, I decided to do an exceptional sale for 15 days. So everything will be 50% off. So if you go to the link below and enter the promo code in the description, you will see you can get 50% off all my content on Teachable. So if that's something you could be interested in, check it out. All right, let's move on to the video. So today we're going to be talking about a concept which actually I did that for a while, but I only kind of internalized why I did it recently. And the idea is just to soften your EQ points. So what I mean by that is that if you do a pretty big cut, let's say you want to achieve a flat frequency response in your brass, so you end up doing a bunch of mid cuts. The thing is, if you don't soften your EQ points, if you do really big EQ cuts, you will end up highlighting other ranges which might not need to be highlighted that much. So for example, if you cut a lot of 500 in the horns, sure, the horn is gonna not sound as muddy and it's gonna sound a bit clearer, but you might highlight, for example, this range too much and you end up with kind of a ksh sound or a telephony sound, if that makes sense. So the idea of softening is if you have a pretty substantial cut to do and you wanna keep the instrument sounding realistic and still organic, you should be a bit more gradual with your EQ cuts, a bit more like a tilt EQ, you know? So the idea is just, for example, if you cut here, you just cut a little bit above here, and that way it kind of creates a more gradual line and prevents these ranges above or below sometimes the EQ cut to be highlighted too much. Because of course, due to the nature of subtractive EQ, if you remove something, then what's above and below gets highlighted, because you unmask these ranges by cutting there, if that makes sense. Now, I bet you're thinking, why not just widen the Q? Well, you could widen the Q, but you don't always want to cut the bass or cut the low mids, the really low mids here. Sometimes you just want to tame a few of these kind of boxy harmonics, but you don't want to cut the low stuff. So in that case, you just do that and you add a second EQ point. So yeah. So this is what I did on these horns here. The thing is, if I just left all that range here, it would sound a little bit thin and honky, just a little bit weird. I mean, of course, it sounds fine, but if you do that, it's all about finding the tonal balance. So the thing is, yeah, just try to do that. Sometimes if you're going to cut some high mids, you might highlight too much of that mid-range, so it could be the other way around, of course. But try to be a bit more gradual with your EQ cuts and see how it affects the tone. And in many cases, it might sound more organic. So on many acoustic instruments, you can kind of try to apply that concept and see if it works. Of course, in some cases, you just have one harmonic that's too much in other instruments. And in that case, you need to be targeted and you don't want to do that. But if the goal of your EQ is to do more tonal shifting and you have to do a pretty substantial cut, just watch out for what's above and below that cut and try to soften it. Alright guys, well I hope that helped and I will see you later. Cheers!